DOT enables investors to earn great returns from properties that residents love. I am originally from New Zealand, about 20 years in property finance, so structured property finance, working for a bank and a fund, and doing project management for offshore investors who were looking to invest in Australia and New Zealand. Moved to London about 5 years ago and co-founded a buy-to-let mortgage lender called Landbay. Landbay is a marketplace mortgage lender, so it matches retail and institutional funds to portfolios of buy-to-let mortgages. That business is going very well now and scaling. And I decided about a year ago to move out of DOT and to move out of Landbay and establish DOT to really streamline the property investment experience. So our view was, if you made every single element of a property transaction as good and painless as possible, and you stack those end to end, you could actually create an investment and property acquisition process that was 10 times better than anything else on the market. On the investor side, we're targeting passive investors who are looking to deploy capital into real estate, where there was once a very active sort of amateur or dinner party landlord market in the UK. I think that's disappearing on the back of numerous sort of tax and legislative changes. The whole market's moving more professional. So what DOT does is we provide a professional wrapper or structure which wraps around really good properties in markets like the Northern Powerhouse, where yields are strong. And we enable our investors to access stock in those markets and to do so in a very efficient and fast manner. So we're building a marketplace with beautiful properties that rent very well, generate good returns, and investors can go online, choose their property and transact almost instantly. So what does that mean? It means Amazon one click for real estate investing. That in itself is quite cool, but I think because we're kind of soup to nuts and doing everything for our investors, we thought it was an amazing opportunity for us to elevate the rental product for our residents, to deliver best-in-class housing for them. So if you use our service as an investor, we mandate that your property is interior designed and elevated to a very high standard, so we can appeal to young professional and corporate residents who are willing to pay a little bit more, but for a housing product that we think is much better than what's out there on the rental market at the moment. Well, I think a number of reasons. Firstly, people are busy. For an investor, just the process and the time and the effort and friction involved in investing in good quality real estate is prohibitive. So condensing that into a seamless e-commerce like transaction means that these people can spend their time doing stuff which they enjoy, as opposed to dealing with 20 individual service providers who take time but also money. So I think the process or the concept of us condensing that all into one relationship and doing it as efficiently as possible also means that we don't need to take a huge margin on all those individual elements in a property transaction, which I think provides a compelling value proposition for an investor. So they get something which is low touch and easy, but also something that is cost effective, because they're not dealing with hundreds or 20 individual service providers and negotiating with each of those. Our goal is to work with a small number of best-in-class partners, negotiate on wholesale terms with them, and then pass on those cost savings to our investors. I think for residents these days, the same applies. The property or the rental market in the UK has had a really poor reputation for value, in terms of providing good value, good quality of service. Taking Amazon as an example, customers are always first, and we think that can apply to rental property as well. And the whole concept actually started with us thinking about whether it was feasible and possible to create a mortgage product that was delivered at the point of sale. So instant mortgage, point of sale financing that could be applied to good quality properties that would enable investors to acquire with just a deposit. So a bit like PayPal for mortgages. So that's what we've done. We've created a mortgage product that can be delivered instantly. The only conditions are that an investor clears AML, KYC, and pays the required deposit. We've done that because we only provide that mortgage against assets or properties that we know and we understand. And the interesting thing about this is that our mortgage can be provided to any investor. So it doesn't matter where they're located, how much they earn, or who they are. So long as they've cleared AML, KYC and paid that deposit, we can give them the financing. So it's turnkey point of sale mortgage for investors globally. We think that that's a very large opportunity. Getting finance, particularly if you're an offshore investor, is very cumbersome, if possible at all. We've streamlined that, and for local investors we think it's interesting because if nothing else, our point of sale mortgage can act like a short-term bridge, which enables them to transact instantly, and then provides that investor with sufficient time to then look at refinancing onto cheaper long-term funding. So that, I think, is quite a good innovation, and it's something that we've developed in-house. We're looking to fund that mortgage through, or our mortgages through, a diversified funding base. So that includes institutional investment who buy our debt, as well as a retail bond that we've recently launched, which enables anyone who understands the risks to essentially invest in the mortgages that are attached to properties like these. So from a technology side, we've invested a lot in the institutional infrastructure for funding our mortgages and selling pools of mortgages to investors. We saw that as a priority because it's our unique selling proposition, being able to provide a mortgage to an investor instantly. Now we've turned our attention to I suppose the consumer side of the business, and how can we sell the property itself as simply and quickly as possible. So that revolves a lot around the buy with dot button. So again, think PayPal for property. That's e-commerce checkout solution, which enables an investor anywhere to click on the button, pay their deposit, and take ownership of that asset. we have been building a dashboard, and we partner with so where there is a elegant solution already in the marketplace we'll use. So for instance, resident onboarding, we work with Good Lord, so they help streamline tenant referencing and contracts and the like. But where there isn't an existing solution, we build from scratch. So we are building a resident dashboard, which again just moves everything that a resident would need online, right down to to paying their rent. The other place, or the other area where we are now putting a lot of effort into is just the data and the smart technology that we can apply to the properties themselves. Now we're looking at smart energy monitors, thermostats, lighting, and various other sensors, which we think over time will really help us understand how people are actually using these properties, how we can make them more efficient. Obviously, with Dot Home, things like utilities are included, so it's important for us to manage those cost effectively. So that's one area that we're really starting to look at now. We've been doing, because we're quite nascent, we don't have a huge number of properties. We're very hands-on at this stage. We've taken the view that we will over-resource, get really comfortable with our ability to provide a fantastic service for our residents, and work out how to scale that going forward. And what we've realized is that's quite difficult to do with lots of individual standalone properties scattered across the city, but quite feasible in a concentrated approach. So we've now moved our focus to multi-unit projects where we can block manage. We've got our first of those in the pipeline now.